Okay, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's Next Super Stock, a live stream December 8th, 2021. And we are back with Liquid Avatar LQAVF over-the-counter LQID on the CSE. And we're here with David Lukacs, the CEO. David, welcome back.
Thanks, Shaq. It's great to be here.
I know you're fresh from the LA Comic-Con. It was a massive, massive event. We're going to get into all that in just a bit. But for anybody that's brand new to our program, our goal with the Wall Street Reporter's Next Super Stock, a live stream, is to bring you those stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside potential. So these are companies going after multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. They are at a key inflection point, and there is multiple catalysts in place to ignite that increase in shareholder value. We've had already 9 stocks that have increased between 1,000% and 5,000% in the past 18 months. And, we need number 10 now. So we're going to find out if Liquid Avatar could be our 10th 10-bagger plus. So, the key with this program is, I'm going to ask David some questions. And then the highlight is ask your questions in the live chat. So ask your questions to David and then decide for yourself if Liquid Avatar is going to be our next 10-bagger stock. So, David, with that said, I want to kind of start off with, the company Liquid Avatar, it's been getting a lot of attention from investors in the last probably, 30, 45 days, because of the whole Metaverse theme. Like the Metaverse is becoming it's probably going to be one of the big investment themes coming into the next 12 months. Everybody's talking about it. It's making all the headlines. And of course, I like to say that, Liquid Avatar is, really one of the few really legitimately pure play Metaverse companies, between the stuff you're doing with digital identity, the stuff you're doing with, with NFTs, the digital land, which is, really crazy stuff. I really want to ask you more about that later. But essentially, look, you're at the forefront of disruptive innovation. So, give us, before we kind of get into all the questions, all the details, the Comic-Con, give investors a snapshot of all your key growth initiatives inside the Metaverse space.
Super. Well, thanks, Jack. Again, great to be here. When we look at the Metaverse, we look at it from 3 distinct vantage points. One is that if everyone's going to exist in a virtual environment, it now is the time for everyone to be able to declare that I am who I say I am. I want to be places where I know people. I mean, Jack, you and I know each other, so there's a human element of trust here. There's I know who you are, you know who I am. But when we're in the internet or in Metaverse, no one knows who we are. So we start at the core with digital identity, and all our partners are thrilled about that. They want to know that everyone who's going to be in our ecosystem and other metaverses that we're talking to. So we're talking not only the Metaverse, but we're talking about the multiverse, multiple metaverses. And so that'll be a new term for 2022, will be the multiverse. And so when we talk about it, at its core is digital identity, making sure that those that are involved in engaging in the metaverse are who they say they are. But then around that digital identity, you're going to need an avatar. It could be something really cool. It could look like me. It could be I could be a dog, I could be a cat, I could be an alien. Doesn't matter. I need an avatar. So that's the second phase of what we do. And then we look at the pure play of the metaverse. And what is the metaverse? The metaverse is really Web 3.0, the interactive culmination of everything we've learned, starting from sort of a first-person view into a IR or Web AR and a VR perspective. The ability for immersive technology, for allowing ourselves to immerse. If you think about, going back, and I'm going to date myself, but, when we were all kids, we had the Sears Wish catalog, right? We thumb through the catalog at the holiday season and tell our parents what we wanted for the holidays, right? And then one of the big disruptors in the catalog business, in the printed catalog business, was actually Victoria's Secret. So Victoria's Secret decided that they would change the prices on the catalog in black. There's a printing technique that do that in black, depending on what region you were in. So if you were in New
I
York, your
actually
price.
I didn't know this. I had no idea.
See, there you go.
Okay.
Originally I come from the graphics industry, so it was one of those
Okay.
things that you know. So Victoria's Secret was a disruptor in many ways, but in catalog printing. And then we started with the internet, and it became listings and classified sales, and then catalog sales, and then I mean I worked with Under Armour on the development of and the launch of Steph Curry's Under Armour line of shoes, and we created interactive video that you could stop a video in mid-flight, press a button, and get a whole interactive display. So we went from literally flat catalogs in the internet to interactive catalogs. Now we're going to go to a point where I can be embedded or immersed into the internet, into the experience, and I can, in a 3D environment, look and do everything. So that's not only with purchasing something, but that's with entertainment, that is with education, healthcare. Everything can be an immersive experience, and the metaverse is where it's going, and things are exploding on that front. And I believe that we are way at the forefront.
So okay, so the key thing, which it's very interesting. I think people are gonna kind of understand what you're talking about probably in a couple of months when they actually have the experience. And because okay, so really like okay, they understand the metaverse, but at the key to the whole thing is because if it's an immersive experience and you're in there, then the question is okay, what is your actual is it a verifiable digital identity,
Right.
the avatar, and that's where you come in. Essentially, you're based. Are you essentially? I don't want to say it's like a social security number, but you're like I don't know, passport. I mean, what is it? You're basically
Well, it's one of our investors once coined the phrase, "We do a financial passport." It is,
financial
but
passport.
imagine your avatar online can take out of their virtual pocket a virtual QR code and present it as your digital identity without ever passing your personally identifiable information. Now, 4 years ago, when we introduced this concept, people go, "What the heck are you talking about?" But it's far closer to reality today than we showed at Comic Con. We showed off our MetaHero Project avatar. So these are interactive avatars that you will be able to put in various metaverses or multiverses and use to represent yourself in a work or play environment. So it's not only, if you think about it, it's about proving who I am, showing who I am, and then doing something in that environment. And again, the metaverses will not start out as this virtual playland. It'll start out very similar to non-linear gaming, a game environment where I can walk around, do things, interact, and touch, because there's just not enough computing power yet to make everything viable. I mean, there is in theory, but not in practice, and bandwidth has to grow as well. I mean, 5G has to be absolutely prevalent. But at the end of the day, we're going to go from literally a flat internet experience into an interactive internet experience. And when I want to do something, I'm going to have to prove who I am. Let me give you an example, a very simple example. If you walked into Best Buy today to buy a television set, and you get to the cash register with that television set, and you say to them, "You know what? I'm really sorry, but I forgot my wallet. I want to give you my card number, my CVV number. I'll give you my zip code, and I'll give you my name and my expiry number. I'll just give that to you. Will you let me walk out with that television set?" And everybody puts a smile on their face and goes, "There's no way that Best Buy would let you walk out with the television set." But they let me do it every day online. Every day I can just type in information and they will ship me something. Amazon,
Right.
Hewlett Packard, IBM, everyone will ship something to me without verifying who I am. The next generation of internet services will require that you prove that you have that credential to do that service, whether it's travel. And we're seeing this with COVID credentials today, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
You have to prove every time you walk into a restaurant. I was just in California. Every time I walked into a restaurant, I had to show and it was a Canadian Ontario credential along with my ID. So not only were
Did they let you
putting,
in with a Canadian
yeah, they
code
did
for
actually,
the
because
vaccine?
they
They don't even know.
they just want to see that I've got something. They didn't know if it's real, by the way. They didn't know
Right.
if it's real, but they just saw it. So at
Right.
the end of the day, we can prove it's real because we can create a verifiable credential that attaches to your identity. But imagine now we can take all that stuff that we think of virtual is coming to the real world. Combine that with the virtual world, and our market is massive. It's a massive opportunity.
Yeah, well, it's massive because you have 7 billion people on the planet. In
Hmm.
theory, they're all potentially a customer. Okay,
Exactly.
so before obviously, I want to ask you, how do you monetize? And let's talk about the Comic Con, the aftermath islands, all that stuff. But I got to add that look, this stuff that you're doing right now, this metaverse stuff, it's really so cutting edge, and the stuff that you're
Hmm.
talking about with digital identity. I mean, like we could talk about it for the next hour. I
For
don't think
sure.
everybody's going to understand it really, probably for the next couple of months until like this stuff actually starts being used. Because I remember when I first heard like the internet, because I was actually in the print business, I was doing financial magazines, and a guy said, "Hey, why don't you do this thing on the internet?" I was like, "Are you crazy? Like, what is it?" Like, because I remember AOL was some, but internet. I was like,
Sure. We got the CDs every month, right?
yeah,
The AOL CD.
there was some CD. The whole thing was just like too. But then when I actually saw the whole thing, and there's also streaming, because we were the first guys. Actually, we were doing streaming audio. They called it streaming audio back then.
Sure.
Real
Yeah.
audio before video. That's audio. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is the future. We could do CEO interviews. Like, it was a game changer. So, I I think what you're talking about right now with liquid avatar, the digital identity, I think people are finally it's gonna click for them in a couple of months when things kind of become more like they actually see the things happening. And by then, I think the stock is gonna be a lot higher. So the opportunity is now before
Hmm.
before everybody gets it, because right now nobody really understands. That's
No,
the
I agreed.
opportunity.
I mean, if I look at this, and certainly not comparing myself, but if Jeff Bezos would have gone to his investors day one and said, "Hey, tell you what, we're going to be in the last mile business. We're going to disrupt UPS, FedEx, and everyone else," right? I think his investors would said, "Jeff, here's a nice jacket that ties up in the back. Go put it on, and we'll leave you in a corner somewhere." But eventually, you have to have that vision, and I think we have a great vision for our stakeholders and our investors. We're already producing technologies that governments, travel organizations, healthcare organizations, businesses, colleges are all looking at, because you're right. They're saying the time is coming for us to have this, but the time is now. I did a project, Jack, and I want to say 2011 with Steven Spielberg, and I did this digital event. I went to the University of Toronto and said to them, "Look, we can do remote learning based on this technology that we developed." And the University of Toronto, God bless them, because I'm a big advocate for the University of Toronto, said to me, "No one's ever going to do remote learning. No one's ever going to learn online."
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
Right, right. The remote
so you
learning.
have to have the vision, and the fact is, this vision for us hasn't changed in 4 years. It's that the market is catching up. I'm talking to investment advisors today who are saying, "I get it. I know it took me 3 years, but I get it." And frankly, I want to be at the front of the horse pulling rather than at the back of the horse pushing. It's much easier. You won't get kicked, and you don't have to clean up any messes. So we are pulling.
Right now, okay. So now you get a couple. Now you actually also have. So let's get into the kind of how do you monetize right now. Part
Hmm.
of what you're doing is now you have like really, I don't know. The company has right now multiple growth initiatives. I mean, you have
Yep.
different multiple revenue sources, which I
Hmm.
really want to dive into. One of them is this digital identity business, which I think you started. You mentioned Toronto, but I think you're doing something in Ontario or Toronto with like the IDs for minors, something
Yeah,
or
we've got a massive opportunity with the Ontario Convenience Store Association. We had a call this morning. The opportunity is 3 million Ontarians go through convenience stores every week, and the Ontario Convenience Store Association has about a 90, just under a 97% accuracy rate in verifying identity. But when you start looking at the number of people, they want to reach 100%, because in Ontario, they can sell lottery tickets, they can sell I think restricted vaping products, tobacco, and some other adult magazines and some other items that are age restricted, but they can't sell alcoholic beverages yet. The goal is to take alcoholic beverages to the corner stores. And to do that, they have to have a way to be 100% accurate in age verification. So we have a way to issue credentials, a way for a consumer to hold that credential who's young and even old, and we have a way to verify that credential. So we're partnering with the OCSA, the Ontario Convenience Store Association, their 8,500 stores. But I have to tell you, Jack, that has put us on the radar. We have received invitations from North America all over Europe. And I think last week, I had an article published in Forbes about age verification and digital identity. So it is an amazing situation. Age verification is a massive opportunity, and what it does is it brings the right demographic to our product, and that's why we also went to Comic-Con, because it brings the right demographic to our product. I mean, we all know, anyone who has children, and my daughter's now older, but if you have young children, is we take our cues sometimes from our kids, whether sometimes it's sports or even clothing, or other elements or technology. We take those cues from our kids. So we're really focusing on the Gen Z and the millennial market.
Okay. Yeah. So so the digital identity thing. That's like, so right now. I think this thing you're doing with in Ontario, that's going to be kind of like a great case study for
Yes.
widespread adoption.
Agreed.
Okay. Now the big question: how do you make money with all this stuff? Like the digital identity stuff in Toronto and other applications like that.
So with digital identity, it's a very simple process. The consumer in our model never pays for anything. And that's the only way to make the internet service grow, with digital identity. But an issuer in our system who wants to issue a credential, or a verifier who wants to verify a credential, will pay a micro fee for that. It's similar to processing a credit card or financial transaction. So there's a lot. When you think about the pennies, those add up very quickly when you're doing millions of transactions, which this opportunity has, hundreds of millions of transactions a year. So we're seeing that, and we are a leader. I will say this because it's absolutely true. Gartner, the big research agency, just published a paper on emerging technologies and digital identity, and Liquid Avatar was named as one of the companies to look at.
Okay. So we're going to get into audience questions. We've got some good questions coming in.
I can see them flashing across the
Yeah,
screen.
I'm just popping up.
I'm jazzed to talk about
I
Comic-Con.
just want people to know that we see the questions. So we're going to get to all the questions in just a minute.
Sure.
Let me just see what did I want to ask you. Okay. So okay. Now let's talk about the other stuff. The big news, of course, the thing that's getting everybody excited is what you're doing this thing with Digital Land, Aftermath Island. You got the multiple NFT initiatives. So let's talk about that. Like, what are you doing? And I don't know if you want to go one by one, like, because I think you're in. I've lost track. How many different revenue models? You have
three verticals. Three verticals, Jack.
Okay. No, but you have
digital identity.
No, but you have digital. You have different. You
digital
got
identity.
Okay.
Then we have our avatar products, which won't launch. Our standard avatar 2D avatars are part of the Liquid Avatar mobile app, but our 3D avatar products, which can look like you or I, called the MetaHero project, will launch hopefully late January. We're just doing our test beds now, where you'll be able to submit an image of your face and a picture of your body type, along with some data, and we will create avatars, realistic avatars that look just like you and are fully rigged and animated for the metaverse and game environments.
What do you charge for that?
Cool. Well, they start at $500 for an avatar.
$500. That's expensive.
And they go to $5,000 an avatar because well, if you bought a Bored Apes were $10,000 just a flat image as an NFT. But what we designed was a two-fold avatar. So think of Clark Kent and Superman.
Okay.
So you can have your Clark Kent image, which means you could use your avatar for everyday activities, school, work, play, family events. But then when you go into a game environment, depending on the skills and powers you have, you could have super flight, you could have laser vision, you could have all the Superman skills. So this is a really, really unique opportunity. It's a very unique avatar, but it is fully customized and playable as yourself.
Okay. Now, so when you make these avatars, let's say the base one for $500, is this automated? Like, in other words, are you able to scale this? Like, in other words, do you have is it like a couple of artists making these things one by one, or you have some process where you can scale and do 1,000 of these a day?
Well, first of all, the first series is only limited to 25,000 of them to start. Second thing is you can't automate the process until you go through an iterative process to try and develop them, find out where the bugs are. So there are lots of things we can do for the future that we're already speccing, but
Okay.
for the presents, they will be done 1 or 2 or 3 at a time.
Okay. How big now? So with these avatars, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how big is that market up? Now we're seeing this crazy thing with you mentioned this bored ape thing. Like, I'm starting to see like this NFT thing with these apes, and there's like I
The
don't
programmatic or algorithmic, and they're selling for tens of thousands of
yeah,
dollars.
there's like a different creatures, and they're all basically like a different iteration. Like, it's like
Yeah, they're algorithmic or programmatic. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
it's
Ours
crazy.
are custom from day one.
Okay,
Ours are, why would you have an ape, a kitty, a punk when you can have your
punks,
own
cyberpunk.
avatar?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Why,
so I
when you
don't
can
get it.
have your own avatar? And this is, and what we've done is it's a, I would invite everyone to go to metaheroproject.com to read the whole story, but it allows you to be both game oriented and personalized and customizable, for a fraction of the price that you've paid for a board ape or anything else.
Okay, this is there's some crazy thing that happened. Okay,
No,
now
no, but that leads us into Digital Land and the
yeah,
metaverse and Aftermath
yeah,
Island.
this is like okay. From what I understand, this digital land thing, there's like stuff that's going insane. Like it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like completely on steroids. So what is going on with digital land? Like I just heard. I mean, I actually you were talking about it for a while, but like now I'm starting to see people talking about on the end like digital land, like there's even digital
Multi-million
land.
dollar sales, right? In digital. So what we did is we had a client at Oasis Digital Studios, and now we're a full partner. We run the project, and the idea was, that I'm a gamer from day one, and obviously a comic book collector, but so what we thought of was three different types of lands. One was thematic, so a land that was, fairy or fantasy, dragons or dinosaurs. So there's thematic islands in which you can own land and you can play in those thematic environments. Then there is community islands, just like Sims or Second Life, where you could have a safe environment where you could do everyday activities. And then for people who want to have a little more privacy, high rollers, we have estate islands, which will be limited to those people and their guests who can deploy on that island. So you have three different types of islands, and then we have multiple iterations of those islands, and we've released right now 40 islands. 40 islands, and eight of them are already, I think it's 40, yes, and eight of them are already sold out. Sold out. Two of them are near sold out, and others are doing phenomenally well. And it's
You're selling this now. You're selling this now. People paying you money, cash.
absolutely, they're paying us. What's unique about us is, if you think about the crypto industry, that is a very small market, very, very small market. There's maybe 4, 5, 6 million people in the crypto market. We employed with our partners at Mouse Cult and their application Waxify and the Wax chain. We put in PayPal and Coinbase, so everybody can buy. The other thing we did, Jack, is we started the prices off really, really low. You can buy a plot of land and stake your claim in a plot of land, which is a virtual 1,000 square meters, for as low as $35. But people are paying up to 46, almost $4,700 for plots of land. And I am telling you that the numbers for us from our iteration are just off the hook. I mean, it's just people. We are seeing 5-digit sales, 5-figure sales every day. And I won't, from low fives to mid fives to high fives. We're seeing every single day. We
Liquid
are
avatar.
generating revenue.
Wait, Dave, you're saying a liquid avatar is ringing the register. Five figure sales means how much? Five figures
ten
is
ten
more than 10
thousand
grand.
plus a day.
More than 10 grand, basically. It's five figures, right?
So low fives, mid fives, and high fives
Uh, uh,
every day. It's trended. It started off very erratic, but now the trend. And
yeah,
again, this has only been about 40 days, so
yeah,
please
no,
keep in
it's a
mind
new, it's a
everyone's
new
got to do their
phenomenon.
own due diligence. So
Yeah,
when somebody once told me, once is an anomaly and twice is a pattern. We are starting to see patterns emerge that we are seeing as of
no,
the
no.
month of
Listen,
December.
it's like the whole it's like the whole crypto thing, then the NFT thing, it's like it's people are doing it. So, but you're basically generating revenues, real revenues, selling this digital land, real.
Every day, every single day. Now our margins are extremely high, in my humble opinion,
I mean,
because it's
it's
digital,
I
right?
can,
But we do have costs. We have some marketing costs. We have some development costs. But we're also reserving some of that money for the development program, right? So we're starting to build a war chest so that we have our own war chest as we start developing in January.
No, it's unbelievable.
No,
all right.
so it's Jack, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so excited. What happened at Comic-Con and what's happening at Aftermath Islands and what's happening at our core digital products, because people sort of said to us at the beginning, avatars and digital identity, that looks so kitschy. Yeah. Now people are getting it and they're going, we have major organizations coming to us and saying, wow, I love digital identity, but can you help us with their avatars as well?
I mean, what is the Bored Ape thing? I mean, I don't get the difference between the Bored Ape and what you're like.
Ours are real. Ours are.
I mean, like, in terms of, if people paying for the Bored Ape, why wouldn't they, do this?
Absolutely. That's why $500 might sound like a lot, but you're getting a fully customized image of yourself.
Yeah. No, it's even
and I will do a shameless plug. If they sign up early at MetaHero Project, they will get an early adopter discount. So shameless plug. So go to MetaHero Project and sign up.
Okay, so here's my question to you. Okay, so you're selling this digital land. This is Aftermath Island, right? This is
yeah.
Okay, so how much? I mean, now land is finite, right? So how much can you generate? No,
because if you think about it, an island is finite. Now, please keep in mind that an island is finite. But when you look at our numbers, we can produce more islands, and we've released phase 1 and phase 2, and phase 2 is more expensive than phase 1, and that's our model. Phase 3, and we're not in the business of. I have to be very clear. We're in the business of gamification, metaverse. We are not condoning or supporting investment. That's not our business. This is a utility. This is a utility. This is utility play. This is what we're doing.
We're not telling
However,
people,
we're now starting to announce private islands. So we have Cannabis Cove that we've announced, which will be dedicated to the cannabis industry. We have Vegas Island, and we have the creators of Vegas.com are involved with us on Vegas Island. We will put out
the Vegas.com that's like what is it? I think they started with a domain. It's like they're doing some.
They grew into a $400 million a year business. It was massive.
They're doing a couple $100 million a year. Those guys, right?
Well, I think I'm involved with the original creators, but at the end of the day, we're doing private islands. We will make islands available for high rollers, but there will be very, very select few. But again, it's all about. I mean, candidly, when you look at the islands and the number of parcels or plots in a phase, and a phase is 20 islands, there's just under 10,000 parcels available. If we want to have 1 million people, we have to have a lot of islands.
Okay, so what's the revenue potential? I'm not that good at math. How much can this generate?
Wow. So phase 1, I believe, was about 1.4 million in potential revenue. Phase 2 is 1.7 million in potential revenue. So about 3.1 potential revenue to date. And like I said, we're selling land and our other services now every day. It's becoming a snowball effect because one feeds the other.
Can you do but I mean, when you do more islands, can you sell 100 million worth of land?
We believe that is a potential opportunity. Yes.
I mean, in theory, you could sell, I don't know, $1 billion. What about resale?
Well, there's other things too, because we are going to be working
brokerage office that sells
resale. Well, exactly. Except think of it is we just landed in North America or Europe, and we have all this land to sell, right? We might only sell France today, but tomorrow we might sell Germany.
Right.
So there's lots of opportunities, and we're doing our test videos now in Unreal Engine 5. So for the gamers out there, go to our YouTube channel and see some of our island designs. Our websites are very functional because we use Shopify. So Shopify doesn't allow a lot of creativity in the websites. It has to be very thin and simple. But when you go to our island designs and some of the things we're doing and look at our YouTube videos, I'm as a gamer, I'm excited and impressed.
Okay. No, I mean okay, so the digital land thing, I mean, like I'm seeing But
imagine we could be the landlords of stores on a digital island. So not only, and we own, so let me make it clear, Jack, right. We did the deal at the beginning with Aftermath Islands, and we had a crawl-in equity opportunity for €1 if we did what we said we're going to do. We now own 50% going forward of all of Aftermath Islands. We own that. They granted us 150 islands for ourselves. So you can imagine at the value of those islands. Plus, on every island, there is reserved land for common area. Liquid Avatar, Oasis Digital Studios, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Liquid Avatar, owns a portion of a land on every single island.
Oh,
And we are the real estate agent for everything.
This is wow, it's amazing. It's like in the Americas, you know, when I think when the English owned it, they granted different, you know, like okay, whatever. You get 1,000 acres because I don't know what I think there is a real estate term for this when the king grants it to you. It's called a
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
eminent domain. I don't know if
No,
it's
no, no,
eminent. I can't remember.
and then you know then whatever it is, and
Yeah,
that's the
but
original.
whatever it is. But the answer is we
So
are
this is
a
the same
player in
thing.
all.
Basically, this digital land that you're doing now. This is the biggest land rush since God, like
Since the
maybe
West was born.
so legitimately since you know California.
What
Imagine,
was it?
David.
What was this
Imagine.
Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise movie, Far and Away, or one of those movies where they have to go out and stake the land? Right. This is what we're doing. And again, what we've done is we've made it easy for young people with their parents' permission and or opportunity to get in very, very simply. You can buy a 35, 45, $55 plot of land, or you can buy a massive plot of land. I have one investor in our company who sent me a note saying, I own 192 plots of land. I went, oh my gosh, that's killer. They own more land than I do because we had to buy. No one in our company got granted land as individuals. We all had to buy our own land, and we're doing. So I'll give you an example for Comic Con, which is a great segue. If you bought land on Dino Roar Alley, which is our thematic dinosaur island, or on Dragon Alley, you get a free dinosaur or dragon egg, which will hatch. It's a separate NFT, which will hatch when the game goes live. So imagine that is an NFT unto itself as an asset. So now we're starting to put in houses and other assets. So Jack, it's not just about selling the land.
No, it's
We're
you're a real
selling
estate
other.
developer. Yeah, it's a
We're a
whole
developer. Plus,
yeah.
we've got creator and innovator programs where we're bringing in other creators and they will be able to sell assets that they create. So it's going to be everything from clothing to digital products to digital events. So we're looking at, we're looking at things like, can we do concerts in the metaverse? And you might see something from us with some of the other metaverse brewing in our entertainment division. So we're looking at all these opportunities and saying, this is not only a wonderful opportunity for Liquid Avatar and Oasis Digital Studios and Aftermath, but it's an opportunity for creators. We want to embrace the creative spirit. We're talking to colleges and universities now about bringing them into the metaverse. I met with a university at Comic-Con, and we're talking about bringing them into the metaverse. So this is an opportunity of massive proportions, and we are so excited to be here today. But it's been a major ride to get here. And again, at our core, we have the fundamental building blocks to make this all work.
Oh, you know, I want to ask you. Okay, so you're saying that you mentioned some like impressive numbers. So you're
Mm-hmm.
generating revenue selling this digital land. So
Mm-hmm.
as far as I know, you're the only publicly traded company that's selling digital, like in the space, generating revenues. Right? You're the only player right now.
I
So
can't I haven't done enough.
maybe
I mean, I know I look at
as far as
there's
I
one
know,
or
again,
two
I
others
don't.
that are playing in the space, but
Okay,
I think we're the only. I believe, again,
right.
subject to due diligence, I believe we're the only one that's generating land. And again, we're doing it based on again, one of our things with Aftermath when we started the project, we said to them, look at if we're going to do this, we're a public company. We have to manage all the funds. And now we operate the project. That's why we're fully consolidated. Because at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure, and they're really great people, but we wanted to make sure that the money that's going into the kitty stays in the kitty.
Okay, but in other words, you're going to be able to when will we be able to see the digital land sales showing up on the quarterlies? When will we see that?
Well, we just finished our third quarter. We're in year end. So in terms of disclosures, it's probably not until early in the new year, like by first quarter, because we have to do our year end. But and there are different, and I have to apologize to our U.S. friends, but there are different disclosure rules in the U.S. than there are in Canada with interim reporting. But we are talking to both U.S. and Canadian counsel on the best way to inform our stakeholders on how we're doing. So we are working on that diligently.
Okay, but okay, so in other words, I think one of the key milestones is going to be whether it's, I don't know, by March, maybe sometime, is when you're actually going to be able to show a quarter and disclose that, hey, we sold $1 million worth of digital land. Now that is going to be a game changer for the markets, because that'll be a massive milestone. Because I mean, as far as I know, this is the only play in town, and like when that gets done,
I'm hoping it's more. I really am. I mean, again, personal opinion, DD alert. You know, I'm like I want to see the numbers grow. I mean, I've done a lot of retail marketing in my career, and you know, and that's why we've been invited into a number of key projects with Disney in the past, and Under Armour and all those projects. So we've taken all of this learning now over almost 40 years, and we're bringing it to ourselves. So we're very, very excited. And again, you know, we're starting to see patterns. Trends require a little more time, but you know, I'm looking at our numbers and our valuation, Jack, and from a personal standpoint, I I'm not interested in selling any of my personal stock at this point in time. And because of our situation, people ask us all the time, how come management isn't buying? Because you can imagine with everything going on, we're constantly blacked out. So not only, you know, I just believe personally that we have an opportunity in front of us that we have to focus on, and is of immense proportions.
okay, so let's. Before we go into the NFTs, maybe you'll talk about the NFT thing now. But I want to ask you. I mean, the big thing I want to talk about is the Comic Con. So
Right.
you know, so it's a very interesting.
Wow.
Liquid Avatar was the official digital innovation partner at the LA Comic Con, which is, yeah, that's a. If anybody does, this is like a cultural phenomenon. You know, they get 100,000 people attending. People are very passionate about this. A lot of money. I mean, the people go, they put on the costumes, the whole. I mean, it's a massive business.
They're into it. Let me put it that way.
They're into it. Yeah, yeah. So you had a big booth. You had, I think, a 1,000,
1,500 square feet with a 16-foot tower and a 24-foot sign.
Okay.
Like we were, you could see us from anywhere in the halls. There were, I want to say, I don't know, 20 or 30 rows of vendors across the hall. I mean, it was a massive, massive South Hall. We did panels and main stage panels, and we were active in the scavenger hunt. Everybody knew who we were. We had an interactive drawing wall, and I promised to send you some pictures and video. But if you go online, you'll be able to see. We had so many people interacting with our booth. We had brands coming up to us. We had a continuous loop on a 10-foot video screen. It was an absolute amazing coming out party. We partnered with Apex Comics, and we had some comic books with all our ads on, and we'll be continuously giving those away. They're still ongoing sales, but excuse me, for branding, it was a phenomenal event, and I think everybody knew who we were.
How many people showed up? Did everybody have to wear? You had to wear masks in?
Yeah, everybody in California, everyone had to wear a mask to be there.
How big was the?
I want to say I don't know the number for certain, but their goal was to be near the mark of 2019, which was 123,000. I don't think they quite got there, but I think it's got to be. My estimate is somewhere between 85 and 100,000 people, probably.
Okay, that's a lot of people. Yeah, and we showed. You know, I posted some of the pictures on our Twitter and social media of the setup, the booth setup.
We did an exclusive interview with you beforehand, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we got to get the actual thing afterwards. Now, the actual booth and the whole thing. So, so what was your expectation from the event, and what did you get? Like, what's the kind of the after? Like, what do you think? What did that event do for Liquid Avatar? In other words, did this like kind of put you in the map in terms of a certain demographic? Like,
our goal was, you know, the challenge with COVID is no matter what kind of company you are, you've been living in isolation for the last couple of years. You hope that you aren't out meeting your constituents, you aren't out visiting people. So this gave us a huge opportunity to say, are we what the market wants? It was our coming out party. And I've never been more energized. Candidly, like I said, I can't sleep. So at the end of the day, I believe we hit that objective. The second objective was, would our products resonate with individuals? The third objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the fourth objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the fifth objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the sixth objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the seventh objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the eighth objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the ninth objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 10th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 11th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 12th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 13th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 14th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 15th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 16th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the 17th objective was, would our products resonate with consumers? And the I mean, we had people coming back every day to talk to us. We actually had CEOs of corporations in California come out to see us. We had people fly in from across North America to come see us, literally for meetings at that event because it was a live event and want to see our setup. Um, we had phenomenal artists and events. I mean, every objective that we set for ourselves, we met and or exceeded. It was a phenomenal vote of confidence to what we do.
Okay. And okay, so I want to ask also, besides the digital land, the Aftermath Island, you also have a bunch of NFT projects.
Yeah,
Can you kind of give a quick recap, like which ones are like, the most exciting or
sure.
kind of revenues coming in,
Well,
that type of thing?
most of them, again, we started off with a whole bunch of test projects, found Aftermath Islands, and then focus because, frankly, I mean, given our breadth of offerings, we're not that big a team. And so Aftermath Islands has been our focus, but so has Gourmet NFT with Ruth McCartney and Chef David Skinner. And we're seeing that should launch, we're hoping, in the next several weeks, only because we've been automating some processes for NFT creation. Um, and so that's one of the big things. We're now looking at some new art projects. We're also looking at creating artist opportunities in the metaverse, which those projects will be able to be displayed. But what we've very much focused on where we can gain revenue. So right now, Jack, in the NFT business, it's all about Aftermath Islands, then Gourmet NFTs, and some very select projects. There's just too much going on, and we don't want to divert our attention.
Okay. Now, am I like conflating it? Is the NFT business separate from digital land, or is it two
Well,
different?
Oasis Digital Studios is our NFT division, and Digital Studio which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Liquid Avatar, is the owner of Aftermath Island. So it's very unified. So it's the digital identity is Liquid Avatar and the Liquid Avatar verifiable credential ecosystem. Oasis is our NFT, and Aftermath now is our digital land deal.
Okay, let's get to some audience questions.
Right.
Okay, Jay is asking, any insight as to how many new downloads of the app, the digital identity app, happen over Comic Con? Also, are we still on track for Aftermath Islands to go live in June 2022?
So our premise wasn't to highlight the download of Liquid Avatar's mobile app at the event. Simply, that wasn't a radar item for us. It was the brand and talking to people about the brand and what we're doing. The Liquid Avatar mobile app is still in a test phase because we haven't launched any of our large programs yet, and I think there'll be a lot of news coming out where we're going to see in likely Q1 of 2022 a significant number of downloads for the Liquid Avatar mobile app because we'll have latched programs, whether it's the Ontario Convenience Store Association or some of our other programs that will facilitate that. And right now, it's still early, but our test phasing is still on track for mid 2022 for Aftermath Islands.
Okay. Heidi is asking, what is the status of digital ID signups with colleges, universities, large corporations?
Well, I think I've just answered that. What we did is we focused on certain verifiable credentials, and we found that rather than going after organizations, we're going after sectors. So age verification and or travel and or healthcare, in lockstep with what governments are doing. So we now have a solution that we believe will have the right opportunities for growth in those areas rather than going after single corporations. We're going after dynamic business sectors.
Update on the credit card.
We don't have a credit card. We have a debit card.
Debit
We have
card.
never right. So we've never talked about that.
Cabin cash. Cabin cash.
Yeah. So Cabin Cash, and we're launching a new program in the U.S. We're still having some challenges in Canada, not with our program, but it's been a hard nut. The Canadian banking industry is still challenged by some crypto, and as we've all seen, there's been new regulatory opportunities. So we're hoping that 2022 sees the launch of the debit card in Canada, and we're already focused on the US.
Okay, I think Tommy's asking
Q1.
Europe. Okay.
Yeah, because what we did is because of the way that the app works now with the verifiable credential ecosystem, we have to have a dedicated server array in every not every region, but every country that we enter for privacy rules. So we've started with Canada and the US, make sure we've got it right, and then we'll expand the digital identity program to Europe and beyond.
I don't think, did I ask this? What sort of utility will the new avatars have?
Well, again, I think of it, it's very simple. Bruce Wayne Batman, Clark Kent Superman, Peter Parker Spider-Man. There will be utility in everyday life, and then there will be superhero and superpowers for games. We've made it very distinct, but it will be one avatar in the same. You just won't be able to shoot a web at someone if you're talking to them across the hall or across the conference table at a meeting. That would be kind of ridiculous. But so you will have your sort of your Clark Kent, your Superman utility.
Okay. Investor Steve is complaining about the stock. Is it stock? I mean, I think the stock is just normal volatility. I mean, it's like, went up from double trend, pull back and then it goes up. It's like normal.
Like again, our job first and foremost is to focus on the development of a company and the business. Now, of course, as CEO of the public company, I'm very cognizant of the stock every day, and we do have a team that is actively involved in that, and I'm actively involved in that daily. But the challenge is I think all small caps are being affected, and I will say this openly. I think the regulators have opportunities for those in certain industries to take advantage of shorting rules, and I think those are being looked at very carefully today.
Oh, this there's also the warrant exercise. There was the market.
Yeah, we had warrants exercising at the end of November and early December, and those are now done. So those have to be absorbed into the market, and frankly that was an end date that had existed for some time, so it was nothing new. And the stock has rebounded really well, and we believe that the continuation of good news and performance as a company will support the efforts in the market and great interviews like this today.
Okay, so Eric is asking. Okay, so there was an incentive for early exercise back. I think that was done over the summer. So, or did you say that all the warrants have now been exercised?
No, for that period. If you go to the CSE, you'll see all our reports, or you go to CEDAR. I don't want to give any information that is incorrect, but all our information is on CEDAR and the CSE website. You can look at it. We did an early warrant exercise program, but I don't think it was well understood, because you can't do an early exercise program when the stock is when the warrants are above the strike. You have to do it when they're below the strike, and that confused a lot of people. But the opportunities for the company and are just immense, and with generating revenue, that puts we hope less pressure on any future financing.
How many? Eric's question: how many warrants are left? How many how much came in? How much can you talk about that?
Well, I can, but my numbers won't be right, and it's not fair. Like I said, that information. I don't like to give information that isn't correct, so I would say go to the CSE and go to CEDAR. That information is aptly available.
Okay, and that's basically that's the actual information. The market.
Actual numbers are there. I think if you want me to give an estimate, I think about 5 million warrants were exercised in the last 30 or 40 days.
Okay, that's a lot. Yeah. So, and how many are left? A ballpark? I mean,
you got to remember, those are inside options. Those are incentive options. Everything else, there's probably, again, I'm going to take a guess, somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 million. But that's over a long period. 60.
60. Okay.
Yeah, fully diluted. We're somewhere around 200 million shares.
Okay. So right now, 200 million.
But I think outstanding, we're around 140. So that's an estimate. But again, I'm recommending that everybody go to CEDAR and the CSE, I think it's CA or .com, and look at the numbers for yourself.
Okay. So basically, right now, approximately $35 million market cap, fully diluted, which is cheap price to pay for pure play metaverse stock with massive upside. I think the big milestone is going to be the land sales thing, because that's going to be it's going to be something where the market doesn't know how to put a multiple on yet. So people might just go crazy. It might be a massive.
Well, what we're seeing, multiples are enormous. I mean, in our space, I'm not.
It could be, it could be a massive. It could be like something.
Right. We're seeing 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 times. I mean, it's all over the roadmap. All we're doing right now is is saying we've developed our products. We made it very, very clear in October that we had left a pure R&D space. We still are an R&D company because that's what you have to be in this space. That we were going to start generating revenue. And if you look at our last quarter performance and you estimate, because we can't give you the numbers directly, where we're going, it's been a hockey stick in the last couple months.
Okay, so you've hit the inflection point. Basically, you went from the R&D phase into now you're in the commercialization phase. You're generating revenues.
Yeah. Yes, that is true.
Okay.
Yeah, we're generating revenues as we said we would. So we try and be factual in our disclosures. We really do take time to make sure they're right. We don't want to get out here and say things. I mean, we want to be excited about our company. We want to be enthusiastic. But again, everybody needs to do their own due diligence. But again, as Jack said, we're one of the few companies, if not one of the only companies, that is doing Metaverse land sales as a public company. We're one of the few digital identity companies in the space. Gartner just recognized us in their report. There's lots. I've just published in Forbes an article on the Metaverse and digital identity as a contributor to Forbes. So we're getting a lot of brand awareness.
Okay, it's interesting. There's a guy I saw I don't know how I came across. There's a guy online. And do you follow baseball cards? Or no?
The answer is I don't. Baseball cards to me are not my passion, but I do follow them. Yes.
No, because this is from what I understand, that's the prices went crazy for different cards, the different whatever baseball, all that crazy. Yeah. There's a guy called Vegas Dave. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Some guy Vegas. It's like one of these social media type of characters. I think he's I think he was made a lot of money betting on sports or something. He's like a sports betting guy. But this guy now does crypto. He was doing crypto, and he's crazy money in crypto. And now for the last, I see this thing. He's saying the digital land is he's saying this is it. This is the next. And this guy has been very on top of trends. He caught the baseball cards, different all those different niche things. Yeah. Basically saying that the digital land is going to be the next big. This is going to be.
I agree. I agree.
It's going crazy. Yeah.
Well, think about it. You're going to want to build things on digital land. You might want to build stores. You might want to build, apartment buildings. I mean, office buildings. There's so many different things that you can build on digital land, and then you can bring other people into it. So owning digital land, I think, is an important factor. I've bought digital land, and I will continue to buy digital land through as I can. Again, we're buying our own digital land.
Okay. Are you, Michael's asking, are you still working with Imagine AR?
Yes, we are. Imagine AR powered the scavenger hunt at LA Comic-Con. It was our partner. Okay. Yeah. So AP and the team at Imagine AR are great people, and we love working with them.
Alan Paul, fantastic. The CEO, just fantastic guy.
AP Silverstein. Yeah. Yeah.
So you got the AR stuff going on.
We are actually we own SDKs. I mean, we're a licensee of Imagine AR, and it's in our Liquid Avatar mobile app. So yes, we are continuing to work with them.
Okay, phenomenal. Okay, David, let's wrap up with this.
Sure.
What do you see? Okay, so we're almost in the new year. We're last days of 2021. We're going into 22. What do you see as the biggest opportunities for Liquid Avatar in the new year?
Well, Jack, I think we've already identified them. It's digital identity, avatars, and the metaverse, and we're already playing in that space. So we're looking to accelerate that business in 2022. We're already there, and there's something else that we're very and someone asked us that question. One of our technical partners. We're also looking at something which I will not go into great deal, but a new form of communication using digital identity that is secure and will, in my humble opinion, put WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram to sleep, because this is all based on you having secure digital identity to do encrypted messaging, and we're looking at that very carefully in 2022. It's called DIDCOM.
Okay, Wall Street Reporter.
We'll be back to you with that one. We'll be back to you with that one.
Okay, we use the Telegram is a great thing. So if you have something better, I'm always interested. It's going to be a new form of communication for messaging, payment, and everything, all wrapped into one, based on your digital identity and
encrypted and secured communication over the blockchain.
Okay, no, it sounds like a lot of exciting stuff. So what kind of bottom line is, what kind of news flow can investors expect the next 30 days? Anything you want to we could look
Well,
forward
we're coming into holiday season, so it'll slow down a little bit during holidays, but we have a very active, and people have seen us. You know, we took a bit of a hiatus while we're getting into commercialization, but our news flow is going to be. I'm very excited about what we have on the go, and we're looking. I'd like to tell everybody everything. There's rules that restrict us. So don't think of us as being promotional. We just want to share our good news with everyone. And again, you know, stakeholders, investors have to do what they think is right for their own portfolio.
Okay, so January. So bottom line is, we could expect to see a lot of news flow in January.
Now and January. Last December was a very big month for us. We expect this December. We're hoping December is still early. I mean, we're only at the 8th. Feels like, you know, each day is a month, but we're only at the 8th, and we'll have. We hope to have a lot of news flow, a lot of exciting things coming out in December, and in January. And Aftermath Islands is creating new promotions all the time, so watch out for all the cool new promotions coming out from Aftermath Islands. It's sort of digital land with gamification. Don't miss the cool opportunities. Again, dragon eggs, dinosaur eggs, free NFTs. Why would
What about
you miss
unicorn? What about unicorn eggs, like baby unicorns? Because that's one of our.
Well, that might be on the horizon, Jack. I won't discount that. But we've started with dragons and dinosaurs, and once we get past that, everybody else. Yeah, there you go. Somebody's put up a unicorn. There you go. But yeah, no. Look at, there's so many opportunities. We're already designing really cool things for different islands for 2022, and we want to make sure. Then here's a real big thing, Jack. I just want to add to this. Anyone who's purchased something when a new item comes out that is free automatically gets that. So it's not only to new buyers only. So if you've already bought Dragon Alley or Dino Rally, you're not left behind, because I think that sucks. I really do. We want to make sure that our people who are in our system benefit from the things that are new on the islands that we've created. This is nerdism at its finest.
Fantastic. Okay. David, thank you for the update. It looks like, I mean, like every time the last month, like things are going from strength to strength. So again, this is one of the most exciting areas of the market now, the metaverse. So
thank you, Jack.
I look forward to getting an update from you in the next few weeks.
Definitely look to be here before the holidays. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody, for watching. See you next one.